Mike, it is interesting that, of course, the money comes from that was already promised to Intel. Remind us of the detail of the deal.
Well, so in the broad strokes, it's a nearly 10% stake totaling more than 400 million shares going to the U.S. government. And this, Carol, is in exchange for what has not yet been spent out of the grant money that was to go to Intel through the CHIPS and Science Act. Remember, this is the law that was passed under President Joe Biden, designed to spur domestic chip manufacturing, helping makers like Intel, but others including TSMC and Samsung as well, get fabs and plants up and running here in the U.S. Now, Donald Trump is talking about this as really the U.S. government getting something for nothing, although if you think about it, that's almost $8.9 billion in unspent CHIPS Act money. And so there is a little bit of something in there. Many are looking upon this, Carol, as really an unprecedented intervention in a company, especially when you think about how sacrosanct these principles of the free market have been, not only for Republicans, but for Democrats, too, and how it has been looked on with really some skepticism since then. Last week, we interviewed former Vice President Mike Pence and former Biden, economic Director Lael Brainerd on successive days, and each expressed their own misgivings and skepticism about the precedent of the U.S. government intervening in a company without a crisis actually unfolding.
Many, though, would frame it from the administration's side that this is a focus on national security, that this is a crisis for Intel to be able to be and turn it around as a national winner of manufacturing. But will government intervention do that, Mike?
Well, that's a great question, Carol, and really that is how they framed it. They didn't quite use the crisis word, but they did stress the urgency on the national security side of having a U.S. flag company leading the way when it comes to chip production. And curiously, in the announcement, one thing was missing, and that was mention of the new plant in Ohio that you and I have talked about a lot. And this is the one that has been planned by Intel as part of its revival, the one that was started under the former chief executive officer, Pat Gelsinger. And it was really destined to be a flagship of that effort, but it has since been delayed. And this is a massive undertaking. It has been pushed back into the next decade, and they really need this underway to put Intel really back into the running when it comes to making those kinds of advanced chips. Their biggest challenge right now, Carol, is finding the customers to be able to sustain such a massive investment in that Ohio plant. And right now, they don't quite have enough. And the interesting wrinkle in this is that Donald Trump, by leading the U.S. government into taking this stake, in a way positions himself as CEO of everything. And this is a role he has liked to play. He has relished pushing companies into expanding their investments in the U.S. We've seen it on the tech front. Yeah. We saw it just a few weeks ago with Apple and expanding their investments in the U.S. So will he take some sort of a more active role in trying to drum up customers to help Intel and its CEO, Lip-Bu Tan, who Trump has met in recent weeks at the White House and really was the one who Trump was able to persuade to have this exchange of a stake in exchange for CHIPS Act money?